What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Parker Byrd Show here in the Legless Lounge. We have an amazing guest today, and I'm very excited for you guys to hear his story. There's some people in life that you just pass and you hear their stories, and it reminds you that, strength isn't always found in what you do. It's always found in who you trust. And I heard this guy's story during actual baseball season. We met after a game, and I heard his story and I was like, man, what an incredible story. So today you guys get to hear it. And so I'm excited about that. Brent Hamilton is today's guest. So Brent spent 18 years of his life serving the community as a firefighter, rising to actually the rank of a captain. So he was in it for a while, got all the way to the captain, and then his life changed unexpectedly. After diagnosed with colon cancer in 2022, Brent endured surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation, and ultimately had to medically retire from being a firefighter, the career that he loved. But this conversation isn't about cancer. It's not about overcoming the adversity life throws at you. It's about identity. And that's what I want you guys to get from today. So, Brent, thank you for choosing God's plan instead of your own. Thanks for being on the podcast to share your amazing story and just being obedient to his calling.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's a blessing.
Yeah, for sure. Always. So before we get into everything, everything that you've walked through your life, who is Brent Hamilton at the core?
So born and raised right there in Washington.
Yeah.
Grew up, went to high school there. As you grow up, not really knowing what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know now, started volunteering at the firehouse. I was like, man, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just the part of serving and being involved and having a team and, being out there, the trucks and everything you get to be involved in. So I started that, in that career, down that path. And my family was very supportive of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as the years go on here, I, working two separate jobs in that same field. So I was immersed in it. I mean, it was at the time my identity as far as my life was concerned, whether it was trainings, schooling. I mean, I was wrapped up deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was part of my life. And we started having kids, and I started slowing down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
so you know how they keep you busy. But, and as
slowing
far as,
down but speeding up.
oh yeah, the same. Yeah. With them, you think you're slowing down.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, oh man. But, at the same time being involved in the community in my church, doing, outreaches with them, as I grew up, missions trips and things like that really, gave me the opportunity to, see people's other side of their stories, where they're from, how they're dealing with things in life. So that perspective, really touched me. I was heavily involved in that, led worship at church for many of years, which was part of my, I guess, just my involvement. Like it gave me, it blessed me to bless others. So in all that, and as years go on, just started getting deeper and deeper into the fire service and, all that. So
working your way up.
Yep.
So what made originally made you pick fire service in particular? Because I know there's so many ways to impact the community. What made you pick fire service?
So honestly, I was actually going to school for physical therapy.
Oh, really? Here at ACU?
Actually at Martin Community.
Okay.
Like starting the just the assistant program and was going to try to advance. Start there small and then work my way up. And I didn't apply myself.
Yeah. You see that problem a lot.
As good as I probably should have.
Yeah.
Some things kind of got laxed. And again, at the same time, I started volunteering at a little station in Old Ford.
Oh, really?
A lot of those guys there worked at Washington. Some of my friends were involved already. I'm like, hey, come hang out with us. I'm thinking, okay, cool. I mean, back in the day, it was like, I get some gear. I get lights in my truck. I can run the red lights and stuff. I'm like, 16, 17 years old. I'm like, man, this is pretty sweet. So that's kind of how that started. And I just, I'm a goal setter, and things. And as I progressed, it was like, okay, man, I can do this. I can do that. And so it just started building from there. You know, and they helped me out. The guys there really helped me to navigate where I actually needed to go. I mean, as soon as
Mhm.
I got to Washington, they were like, "Hey, we'll send you to school in Wilson."
Oh, wow.
So I went to Wilson for several months,
Yeah.
got all my classes, EMT. So when I came back um, in April, I got hired. I mean, I
Yeah.
was a shoe in a sense. It was pretty
Right.
much like, we're gonna send you. You do well, you get a job.
Yeah.
And so then it's just like from
There you
there,
go.
just
Yeah, my best friend's actually in EMS right now, so he's kind of going through that process himself, and he is wanting to be a flight nurse, which is
wow.
crazy
Yep.
because obviously my accident and
Yep.
stuff, and he just thought it was so cool how being a flight nurse
Yeah.
you can impact somebody's life like that. So he's going to school to
It
try to do
does.
that now. So it's really cool to see how he's kind of his career path has. I wouldn't say it's because of my accident, but it definitely opened his
It
eyes to
does. It
saying,
impacts you. When you see people, when you're able to help people, when you get them to the hospital and when you walk out, sometimes you never know the end of it.
mm-hmm,
But it's always, because EMS, it's kind of quick,
yeah,
you know,
you're there and
15,
you're
20
gone.
minutes,
Yeah,
and then you're gone to the next patient, and you
yeah,
never really know what happens in the end. So, especially, with your accident, we were involved
right.
washing and we picked you up.
Yeah,
And so, um,
it's just crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
so, when I made that connection,
yeah.
and I was telling Micah, about everything, and he was like, "What, Daddy? Are you
That is
serious?"
awesome. Yeah, no,
So,
that's insane. Yeah,
I,
it
I,
is. Yeah, because I don't always get to include Washington in my story because they did took me there
yep,
and
yeah, we met you at the dock.
immediately
Yep,
flew me out to Greenville,
yep.
ECU Health here. So.
So,
So after 18 years working your way all the way up to being the captain, being the main guy in Washington, what did that mean to you personally at the time, and what does it mean to you now?
man, I think and just like you, um, we're athletes.
Mm-hmm.
You're an
Mm-hmm.
athlete as a firefighter. I pretty much consider us, high performing
Yeah,
athletes
for sure.
in our field. A lot of training. You know, when the weather's hot like
Mm-hmm.
this, there's no off days for us.
Yeah, and you gotta be
Uh,
fit enough to wear all that equipment in 97 degrees
and
like it
then
is
go into a
today.
fire that's
Yeah,
1,500 to 2,000 degrees.
yeah.
And be able to function. Mentally and emotionally and physically. So yeah, I mean, it puts a lot of pressure on you physically, mentally, and emotionally to perform that type of job. So there again, our training is really where
Mm-hmm.
you know it starts.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years of just how much can I accomplish?
Yeah,
I was like, how much can Brent do? Got a couple degrees, and I kept working. I was like, man, if people believe in me enough to give me a scholarship,
yeah.
here I am, I got associates, bachelor's, master's. As I'm working up, I'm like, man, and all this other outside training. It's like, man, this is really cool. As I just gained, my confidence, knowledge, and ranking up, um, and truly, all that was just for Brent. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how much can Brent do?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then, in the long run, is how much can I be an example for others to want to follow me
Mm-hmm.
and to be the best version of themselves.
Right.
Um,
To
and
bring rise to the occasion.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, is it good to you know to rank up and have that title? Yeah, with a title comes a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
You just can't say, oh, well, I get to
Yeah, I get to be
sit
the
behind a
captain now.
desk now. Yeah, I just get to do some paperwork and this.
Yeah.
No, you still have to, you know, you've got a set of expectations to set. Standard there. So, um, and I enjoy that. That gives me, comfort knowing that I got guys that want to follow me.
As a
And
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just a cool experience. And actually, I got promoted to captain in between my first and second diagnosis.
Oh wow.
So even though I was thinking that on the way over here, about that moment of how, like, I thought things were getting better in between,
Yeah.
got promoted, and I'm like,
Eh,
man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Th-
Life is
How,
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
how can this get any better? I'm like, man, this is awesome. Yep, I'm gonna get better. coming back on shift, full blast.
Yeah.
We're going to kill it.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it just, it gave me that confidence though, that at the same, sense I went through all that, I was still able to promote.
Mhm.
And still to this day, I show up, at the firehouse to work out or whatever.
Right.
And they're like, "Hey, Cat, what's up, man?"
Yeah.
So that still gives me, they
Still the team.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still with them. I'm still one of them. They trust me. They respect me. So that still gives me that, encouragement to, all right, cool.
Definitely. Yeah,
Still
it
go.
reminds me of whenever I got out of the hospital, going to the field. I wasn't, playing or being in part of practice or
Yep.
anything. And a lot of times I'd sit there in a wheelchair and just kind of watch the practice. And for me, that was actually probably the hardest part of my recovery was going to the field and watching the guys and it was a lot of selfish nature, but also and I wasn't praying for their downfall. It was just like they were doing what I was wanting to do. So that was part of the hardest times was doing that. But when did firefighting just not become a career to you and become your actual identity? Because you mentioned it earlier that it became your identity. It just wasn't what you did; it was who you were. When do you think that switched to becoming your identity?
Probably halfway through, when you want to start to rank up, and I mean, you become immersed in it. I mean, it is. I mean, you eat, sleep, and breathe it. On my off days, it wasn't off days. I was still going and teaching, still at the firehouse doing stuff. I mean, it was like, you know, I, at any moment I was at the firehouse. And wife's like, "Hey, what you got to do?" I'll be at the firehouse working. Got to teach today, got to teach tonight. Whatever it was always about the firehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it had pretty much consumed me to the point, that was, again, I worked 2 jobs for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
On the side while working at Washington. So, it probably, when I had the availability to start ranking up is where I really started to, change. Like it just wasn't a job anymore. It was like, okay, again, how much can we get out of this? Where can I go with this? And so,
yeah, that's crazy because I feel like in life, when more success comes, the more we put our identity in that, even though, and to the fullest extent now that, it can be stripped away from you at any minute. And
absolutely.
I want to talk about the season of life that you're in kind of
Yes.
before your first diagnosis, like when everything was, going well. Kind of talk about that a little bit and like the feelings of, being part of the team and kind of working your way through the ranks. Not obviously to the highest part yet, but there was still more to achieve. Kind of talk about that season a little bit.
Yeah. And that was, right in that moment, we'd had my first child, had the grace. So her life was there. Then we had Micah. So in that part of the season there, we were trying to raise a family. Again, I was working a second job at the same time. Um, so my focus was solely again on Brent
Mm-hmm.
and how much can y'all do for Brent to achieve, the sacrifices. Now that I look back, like how much they sacrificed of me being gone, in our hours, then we worked 24/48s. Now they're 48/96s. So, so in that season there, man, it was truly about how much can you do for Brent at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
How much
Yeah.
can I get out of you? And a lot of that, now that I look back, was was I being selfish of trying to again draw out as much, not suck their life, but
Mm-hmm.
again, how much can you do for Brent? And I don't think I was I don't know, negative towards them about it
Yeah.
in a sense, I
Yeah.
don't think I,
It was just the nature of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then again, not being there with them, and a lot of times Miranda, picking up the pieces
Mm-hmm.
in between my times of being gone.
Yeah.
So it does. I mean, a career like that, hey, everybody. I mean, there's a lot of guys that do it,
Mm-hmm.
and kudos to them, the ones that do it to 30 years. You think the amount of hours
They're gone.
they're gone from their families. Um,
Yeah.
it
I was thinking
does.
about that too with like, I mean, major league players, like their wives, and I mean, it really any job that you're successful in. A lot of time
Yep.
you spend a lot of time pouring into that job. So I mean, it's not just in your career.
Yeah.
It's throughout every
Oh yeah.
stage of life for sure.
Yes.
It's insane. But let's go back to the day where everything changed.
Yeah.
The day where you're like, something's not right. What was that feeling? And kind of
Oh man.
take us through that.
Yeah. Uh, so that was October of 22, and I'd had some issues prior,
Mm-hmm.
some bowel issues. Not emptying fully. It was very, very
Mm-hmm.
odd. I thought I had some kind of stomach bug.
Right.
I thought I ate at Taco Bell or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and
It'll
and
get you, especially if you eat late.
so I'm like, what is going on? It just, it baffled me. I'm pretty into my body.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy working out, eating pretty healthy. Staying on top of things, making sure things are good.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept having these bouts of this cramping of just it would grab me, and then about 10, 15 seconds, then it would release. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, what's going on? Again,
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's like a serious, stomach bug,
Yeah.
diverticulitis or
Flu,
something. Yeah.
something in that aspect. Yeah.
So, but as it went on, I actually went to a seminar up in Alexandria, Virginia, with a bunch of guys, and at that moment, it happened to me again. Um, and at that point, I was like, okay, this is the second time it's happened. Let's not do a third.
Yeah.
So I immediately got into my primary here in town, and she was like, hey, let's go ahead and get you a CT. Over at Gastro. Come over here to Gastro. And of course, that's what they wanted to do. And then October 19th is when I had my CT. Again, another normal day. Nothing ordinary. Got off shift,
Wanna
went
get it?
home, changed clothes, went to Greenville, CT, 10, 15 minutes. I was back home,
Yeah.
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And an hour later is when the doctor called me.
Dang.
And, if I could paint that picture of, sometimes I wish I had a camera
Yeah.
in the
Room.
kitchen with me at the same time.
Mhm.
Just that sombering feeling when that phone rang, um, and at the same time I had called my sister because she actually worked there,
Oh, really?
and I had heard the verbiage about on my chart that it said possible colon cancer. Like,
Yeah.
what is this? Well, it's just verbiage that they do for abdomen
Yeah.
CT. So I'm standing there, again, I am by myself. Miranda's on a field trip. My parents, we actually live all in the same corner of the neighborhood.
That's awesome.
So my parents are actually headed to the mountains. Um, but when I switch over from my sister to the doctor, she said, hey, Brent, doctor, so and so, can you come in? And I'm like, I've already seen the my chart stuff. Can you just tell me
So,
what's going on?
yeah.
And I'm by that point, I am, full blown emotion.
Yeah.
She said, we think it's cancer.
Yeah.
She's like, I said, okay. She said, we need you to come in for, a colonoscopy tomorrow. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I just, to get that feeling
Yeah.
of like, I mean, pretty much impending doom. I thought I was done. I mean, no joke
Yeah.
about it. I completely was like, oh God, I guess this is the way I go, huh?
Yeah.
This is it, huh?
Dang.
And I couldn't get up with Miranda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's on a field trip. And I'm like, I'm calling and calling and calling. I got with my parents, and they had like she stopped and were
Turn
turning
around.
around to come back until we could find out some information. And at the same time, I was supposed to teach the next day. So called my fire department guys. And in that same moment, the fire chief found out about it. So he ends up pulling in the driveway, and we had a moment. And so again, like I said, it just I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
absolutely never know.
And you had surgery that, and you thought you beat it, right?
Yeah.
And there was a moment there that everything was going back good again. And you talked about earlier how you got promoted.
Yep.
You had surgery. You were done with the cancer. What was that season like of just hope and gratitude of like, well, thank you God for giving me my second chance. Life is back normal again.
Yeah. And I think at the moment I really I didn't tune into it.
Yeah.
I think in the moments of, and in both seasons, the first and second, that I find out that I was so focused on getting better that I really didn't take in like what was going on. It was like, how quickly can I get better, get back on shift, and let's roll with it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Just going through the motions.
Yeah.
Got through the surgery, everything looked good, 6 to 8 weeks. I was all right. Got on chemo, did the chemo for 4 months. And then in the same moment, I was working day shifts.
Golly.
So I had not stopped. I mean, it was,
Full go.
I mean, I was like, I'm going back to work. I am going back to work.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, that was where my mind was gone too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd made it up, so.
That's so crazy because I feel like during my recovery as well, like those, months after when, everything's going well again. I mean, you're still like in the recovery process. Like, you probably lost some things that you were trying to gain back. Mine was 50 pounds. And so I was like, man, how can I go to PT, gain all this weight back and get back onto the field? But like, I think of the story in the Bible about Mary and Martha, like, Martha's always so busy and like,
Yes.
she's trying to prepare the table and all that while Mary's just at Jesus's feet. Like, I think it's just a reminder for us to like, stay in the present moment and like, praise him through every season. Cause like, you really don't know what's going to happen, like your cancer diagnosis. And I think that leads us perfectly into what's about to happen in your life, right? Like, everything's going well again. You're worried about, and thinking about going back on the job. And the thing nobody ever wants to hear is, hey, you have cancer.
Mm-hmm.
What was it feeling like when you heard it the second time?
Man.
And tell us about that.
Yeah, for the first one to hit, it was like, okay. And then to see like, okay, I'm actually going to make this. I'm actually going to beat this.
Yeah.
And again, back on shift, get promoted. And with the cancer, you have checkups every 3 months. You get your blood checked for the CA levels. And so I was doing that routinely. The CA level had started going back up. And at the time, unfortunately, the oncologist that I have, I guess per se disregarded that and said that, I have patients that have, trending high CEA levels. So me and my wife, we're looking at each other like, okay, we'll trust you.
Yeah, you're a doctor.
Yeah. So as this continues to go on, for months, this happened. Months, getting checked. It finally comes to a point to where the level was so high that we have a specialized blood test called a Signatera test. It's similar to like a DNA type test for cancer, markers just specifically for mine. So that happens. It pops positive, but the percentage, it was low. But it's nothing to worry about. Everything's fine. So I'm thinking, okay. Well, at the same time, it says, let's get another CT.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where it hits. Is I'm actually at the dive shop here in Greenville, one of my buddies, and planning dives for the summer. Again, I was going back to normal, and sitting there at the dive shop, and the phone rang from the doctor and said, again, can you come back? And I'm like, are you serious? You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I mean, so then again, mom's at work. Miranda's at, everybody I would have called was already like at their respective places, I'm like, no, I'll just go. So, yeah. So then it just was oh my, you can't fathom it. There's no words to, as I'm driving from there to the doctor's office again, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I've come this far and now this. And, I'm thinking, man, okay.
Yeah.
So it just,
Insane.
yeah, again, it consumed me again. I just was like,
Would you say that time was harder than the first, considering like, the first one was so much uncertainty and like you had no idea what the treatments were going to be like.
yeah.
Second one, you knew what it was going like what you were about to get into again, but you had came so far.
Oh, yeah.
Which one would you say? I mean, they're both obviously are
Yeah.
not what you want to hear.
The second one, I'll be honest, that one, because knowing now, I ended up going to Duke. I ended up getting a second opinion. Got all my stuff switched over to Duke. The Duke oncologist actually called me on my cell phone and was like, "Hey, Brent, I've been looking at your stuff, and we need you up here yesterday."
Oh wow.
I was like, "Oh, you got a special case?" I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "We're about to hit this fast and hard, so I hope you're ready." And I'm like, "Yeah." So in that time frame of me getting everything switched to Duke, it was like 2 weeks. I had a port placed, I had a CT guided biopsy, and on May 14th of 24, I was having my first chemo treatment at Duke.
Wow.
I mean, it was like
Right there.
it was there. So I'll be honest, I didn't have time to think. I mean, it was like, okay, I mean, I've got to take care of Brent. Then again, the focus back on Brent, and I think that's the hard thing with cancer, is, I was so focused on myself of getting better, making sure I'm taking care of myself with the chemo, and everything. And, yeah, Miranda was, phenomenal. I mean, there's no way that, she was taking care of me and the kids.
Yeah.
And still going to work and everything. And my dad. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. I totally understand because I feel the same way about my parents and what it's just the support system that you have to have in those moments. It's like people forget that like you had cancer, but it didn't just affect you.
No.
It affected your parents. It affected your kids, your wife. Like
it's
a support system.
Yeah, and it doesn't, and unfortunately, life does not stop for these moments that we go through.
Not at all.
And again, I'm not, I won't say lucky. I was blessed that, my church family, the fire department family, man, they jumped right in. Man, it was, and yet that first portion of getting, again, diagnosed was tough and going through all that. But through that, man, I was blessed. I mean, people were bringing us food, taking the kids for us. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
And it was like
some good food too.
At every moment. I mean, I didn't have, there wasn't an empty plate in the house for us. At every moment, it was like, what can we do? And that takes me back real quick that I had one of my mom's cousins call me and just wanted to chat for a minute. And this really stuck with me was, I think a lot of times we always say, hey, I think we're good. What do you need? I'm good. Really, in reality, you're probably not. And you probably do need something. We just don't speak up and say it.
Not at all.
But she said, Brent, I want you to listen to me real quick. I said, okay. She said, don't let people blessing you ruin their blessing. I was like, I took a second. I was like, I got it. I'm like, okay.
Dang. That's good right there.
And so from there on, I was like, everybody's like, all right, what can I do? And I'm like, cook a meal, cut the grass, take the kid. I was like, okay, I got you, God.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, yeah, because I mean, like, God is in every moment, right? So He's telling those people in their brain, like, reach out to Brent and his family, making sure they're okay. So it's not like when they're asking that, they're being genuine too. And
exactly.
I felt that too. Like naturally, you always like, oh no, we're good, like we've got it.
Yep.
But like when you say that, you're putting more stress on your kids, on your wife, on your family, and like not actually asking. And
Yep.
when you ask, I'm sure you felt it. Like people were there,
Oh man.
and the community was there. And like I'm so glad my accident happened in Greenville because there's not a stronger community out there. And I truly believe that. Like that's one of the reasons why I committed to ECU was because
Yep.
of the community, but I didn't realize how much I needed it until I was in my accident. And then all of a sudden, there's these food trains that are set
Yeah.
up, and my parents are having an overload of stuff in the refrigerator, like cakes galore.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
my sister's like getting another accident so we
Yeah.
can get
Yeah.
more food. Like this is awesome. So
Yeah.
like, but yeah, but to your point, like you're right. Like people are out there like with open hands, like wanting to, and that is their blessing. Like they
Yep.
want to do that, and
And when they look back, that's another thing. And I think you're the same way. Is in 5 years, as I'm still going through this, trying to get to that end point here. But those people that whatever they did, whether it's small or large, they can look back and say,
they're part of the story.
I helped that family right there. I
Yeah,
helped Brent get to where he is. And
100%.
so that's just encouraging for me, not to discount their blessings at any moment. If somebody says, hey,
Yeah,
can I do something for you?
yeah,
Because everybody's like, look, you've helped so many people in your career and your life already. Let us do something for you. And
yeah.
that's hard sometimes.
Especially when you're so used to being the guy that does it.
Yes.
Like in your career, like that's what you do.
That was my job. I mean,
That's what you do. And you told me earlier, like, the hardest part of your recovery was not the treatments. It wasn't the quick turnaround at Duke. It was losing what you did. It was losing that identity that
Yeah.
you had placed it in. Tell us more about that and kind of what you mean through that.
yeah. So, I think once I was able to make it through, the cancer, the diagnosis, then of course the chemo, I had 6 weeks of radiation every single day. I'd have to drive to Duke.
Oh wow.
And there again, that's where the community jumped in. Miranda made a driving list on like the sign up genius thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I had people driving me every day, somebody different every day.
That's awesome.
And so that was really cool.
Yeah.
Then
Sure,
of
a
course,
lot of conversations were.
oh yeah, we were
had.
able to. I mean, and it wasn't just, we didn't really talk about what was going on. It was just
Yeah. It's
you know,
life.
we were
Yeah.
just riding up there together.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my friends and family and coworkers and things.
Yeah.
People from the church. So um, it was good to be able to see them when they pulled up and just how excited they were
To do it.
to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't ask anything. Bought my lunch. It was the whole gambit. It was like so. Then the surgery. I had a bag for 4 months and had the cath for that same amount of time due to the damage when they went in to get the tumor.
Was catheter the worst part?
But I'm gonna tell you what, it was when you wake up and you're not expecting it,
Oh,
and I'm like,
take this thing out.
what is going on? So yeah, it was taken out and put in 6 different times,
Yeah.
and then I went home with it for 2 weeks.
Man, I can still like when
it
I'm
was-
picturing that, I can still feel it. Like I don't know, like it's a very very unique. It's the worst.
Yeah, it's,
I agree. I was the same way. I had probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6. I was up there too, and like it got to the point, like that I was on so many pain medications that I couldn't go
didn't.
use the bathroom, right? And my very last day, well, this might be TMI, but I don't really care.
That's
But
fine. Hey.
I was like they were like, you have to use the bathroom before you leave.
Yeah,
And dude, I was on that bedside like
yeah.
toilet trying for like probably 8 hours that day, like straining. And I was so like constipated that I couldn't even pee. It was blocking whatever to pee.
And
So
that's not
then
a
they
good
had to
feeling.
put in another catheter, and I'm like, golly. So I went home with one as well, and like it was just. And luckily, my parents are both in the medical field, so that was a blessing for me, even throughout the hospital stay. But like, golly, those things are
when you
miserable.
I had it for 2 weeks, and then I went back thinking that I was going to be able to, all right,
Yeah.
just pee. We'll get in there, and the doctor's like, hey, we're going to send the nurse back in here. She's going to teach you how to self-cath. And I'm like, huh?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
are you serious right now? So here the nurse is, and my wife, again, might be too much, but I'm sitting there
Yeah.
like,
I mean, it's true
sitting on
though.
the edge, like, and she's like, okay,
That's how you do it.
yeah, make it happen.
Golly.
So I have my
Mm.
little regimen, I'm like, and it's like, I had to
Yeah.
pee. At the moment, I'm like, hey, this is the way I got to pee. So for 4 months, again, going back, I went back to work, cathing and dumping my bag and stuff at work, doing all that
Wow.
on day shifts.
And still the captain?
Yep.
Wow.
On a day shift, regimen, like in the fire marshal's office, but still,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I was grinding, so
That's just
that was
that's
those
straight
instances
dog right
where,
there. Yeah.
I was like, man, I was determined, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I am going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And to get to the point is, as I slowly, things didn't get better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it got worse, but it felt like it did.
Uh-huh.
It felt like, I'm like, man, what is, it's like April, May, June, July. I mean, these months keep going by and I'm not there yet. So, what ended up happening is through the 2 resections, the chemo, the radiation, all that caused what they call LARS, lower anterior resection syndrome. So it causes a lot of bowel issues. You have clustering. It can come and go as it pleases.
Wow.
You really don't know when you're going to use the bathroom.
Right.
And so I was fighting that while I was working as well. After I got the bag reversed,
Yeah.
4 months later. So that really just consumed me in, again,
Why?
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's funny that you say that. It was, at the moment, and I never questioned God.
Yeah.
At least I don't remember like saying, why God?
Yeah.
It was, more or less what it ended up becoming was, why now?
Yeah.
Like, why, man, things are going great, God.
Yeah.
I
The
get
peak of
promoted.
my life. Yeah.
I've got this going. I'm like, man, I am jamming here.
Yeah.
Why now?
Yeah.
So, and then the day that, ended up making the ultimate decision, to medically retire because I couldn't work. I was strong enough to work the job, but I couldn't work the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
There was just no more that they could do. And the city had, it was phenomenal, man. They took care of me.
Yeah.
I mean, they took it to the last day to where it was like, I think it's time,
Yeah.
and I think it was inevitable, that I had to.
What's up, guys? I want to take a quick second and thank one of today's sponsors, Children Health Services. They understand the importance of your child's well-being from the day they were born in the hospital. All the providers over there provide top-notch care. They have a new location on 10th Street, so make sure you guys go and check that out. It's really purple and looks pretty cool, and they have their old location on Arlington Boulevard.
So whenever you got out and did medically retire, do you find yourself asking yourself, like, what am I now?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, that's another sombering experience too, I think I talked about at the very beginning that, us as, high performing athletes and what we do, the plans that we set for ourselves, and when those are quickly snatched from underneath of you, and that identity of, the hero, the provider, the father figure who works at the firehouse, who is strong and healthy and all that. When that is taken from you, yeah, I'll be honest, man. I had a really, really, really tough time. Very tough. And trying to figure out, because then again, too much information. But I sit on the toilet for about 2.5 hours in the morning and in the evening to fully use the bathroom.
Yeah.
So here I am, went through all that, and here the weakness that that I feel of having to sit on the toilet and look at a white wall for hours upon end upon when I get up in the morning, and then throughout the day sometimes.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
really, God?
Yeah.
Like now, when all this is happening, you know, this is
It's
how we
the
decide
pinnacle of
that
my life. Yeah.
to take me out of, you know, what I love to do, and this is what I get
Hmm.
to sit on a toilet.
Do you ever think, looking back, that God, may have stripped it away because it became your identity? Like, have you ever looked? Because I feel like sometimes, I'm speaking for myself here. Like, I feel like God, He didn't just He allowed it to happen because He knew I was so consumed in the game of baseball that it was my identity, it was everything I lived for.
Yeah.
So He's like, hey, like, who are you without it? And He showed me that, and so like I was just wondering, like, in your life, like, do you think that's like, has that ever crossed your brain that
Oh
like,
yeah, 100%. You know, me and Miranda talk about that. Just because again, I was a busybody.
mm-hmm,
Man, anything I could get my hands on that revolved around the fire service, I was there doing it.
mm-hmm,
You know, when I probably could have let somebody else do it, but you know, so yeah, slowing down. I now that you know that's those things that you time stamp and you look back, and it's like as I continue to grow, you know, with God, that I can finally, you know, say, "Yep, okay, I
mm-hmm,
got it now. I'm getting it, God. I'm
yeah,
I'm understanding now
and that there's a purpose.
that though I thought the fire service was my purpose, and that it gave me my true purpose of
Mm-hmm.
why I was here on earth, and thinking, you know, man, I made it to the camp, but I'm here, but
Yeah,
you know,
this is my
yeah,
purpose.
I'm here. He quickly showed me, you know, that hey, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're not in control of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm ultimately in control. You know, that, you know, reminds me of uh, a verse that I've held on to is Proverbs 16:9, that, you know, though man, you know, plans the desires of your heart, God leads your steps.
Mm,
And that has been very true in my life recently of how much you can make plans all
yeah,
day long,
that's awesome.
you know, but God ultimately, you know, has the final say so in where you go and, you know, what you
Yeah.
do in your life. So yeah, I definitely think, you know, and it's funny that I say this, but if it means me having cancer again to draw me closer to God, to get me where He wants me to be,
Bring it on.
then so be it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, that sounds
Yeah.
very weird,
No, but it's true. It's
but
just
it's
like,
a
because you know that your purpose isn't wrapped up in an earthly thing anymore.
no,
That's not your identity. It's being a child of God, a man of Christ, and like I think that's so powerful. And like I think it's cool because like throughout the whole time, your faith never changed, right? Like
no,
it was still the same. It never wavered. Like you even said, you never really questioned God. You just questioned more of the
the
timing,
time.
right? And like now you're living a life that is depending on God every single day. And so like I want you to kind of talk us through that of like what that looks like, trusting fully in him, because I feel like, all of us grab onto something in life, right? Whether that be your finances, a
Yep.
relationship, a sport, a career. Like what does fully letting go and just trusting in God look like?
Yeah, and it's not easy. You know, it's a battle every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people say the struggle is real, the struggle is real. You know, and the devil can make, you know, even seemingly good things bad.
Yeah.
You know, and he can consume you and just, you know, divulge you and make you think this path that you're going down is even better than
Mm-hmm.
what God has got planned, you know,
Mm-hmm.
through your trials. Um, and so um, I think just fully letting go, that's been a hard thing for me. You know, everybody used to say, hey, just, you know, let go and let God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what does that look like
Mm-hmm.
for me? What does that look like as a human going through this right now? And I went through a period, you know, after my retirement of some dark days, you know, where the devil just, you know, consumed me and said, hey, Brent, this is the path you need to go, man. It's good. It's fine. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, you know, every single day. And the closer I got and the further I distanced myself from my family and from God. And this kind of just puts in a perspective. I sit on the toilet for 2 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's right behind me? The Bible.
Mm. Yeah.
It's right there. All I had to do was pick it up
Yeah.
and read it. You know, I wasn't
That's good.
and the part that, you know, the last, you know, couple months, the kind of the words I've gotten is being intentional has really touched me. As I started reading in James, being intentional is where it's at
Mm-hmm.
for me. Because in life, you know, you become complacent. We use complacency in the fire service about our training and things. So once you become complacent, you become comfortable in thinking again that your plans that you set for yourself are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That everything is going to be fine. You're going to wake up, the car's going to start. You're going to get to work. You're going to do work, go home. You know, X, Y, Z. You know, but you know, cancer showed me that, and I know in your situation the same. You know, thinking, you know, what the next day has to offer for us.
Right. Yeah.
But that quickly taught me that, you know, that I need to be intentional every day with my faith, my prayer, my family, my actions, you know, and how I serve others
Yeah.
through Christ.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
awesome.
it's still a battle of
Always will
fully
be.
letting go and just letting
Let God. No,
letting
let go.
God
Let God. Yeah.
just take over and so yeah, I mean that, you know, I'm not gonna say I've got it figured out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still truly working at it every day,
Yeah.
trying to gain.
Well, we'll
know,
never be perfect until we're there.
So,
So I mean, yeah, it's a daily
So-
battle for all of us. But
But
how would you say that your journey and your life experiences now has shaped your relationship with your family and your wife?
yeah, it's again there for a while. It was. Hey, we just talked about this the other day. Of how we're struggling with everything being done now, and the focus not being solely on Brent and trying to get Brent better. You know, now it's like, what can I do for my family now?
Mm-hmm.
How can I serve them? And to be a better father, a better husband, you know, just an example and influence for them outside of this cancer thing, and not solely, you know, thinking, oh, you know, cancer done this to me, and you know, again, you know, purpose over pity,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
It's just a perspective you look at it.
and not letting that just, again, whatever you're going through, not letting it devour you, and just thinking like, oh, gracious sakes, Brent, you know, I've got to sit on the toilet for 2 hours, you know, and not letting that consume me to the point to where I don't give them what they need. You know, and I do, and I have for a while. I mean, I'll be honest. There's no, I mean, you know, I can't deny it. I mean, it's just the way I treat them, you know, because of how, you know, again, how I feel about myself, and having to sit there, the medications, having to always, you know, time is always based around, all right,
Yeah.
Brent's schedule and how things need to happen. And so I create this, you know, this falsehood of that, you know, their impression of what, you know, how they see me, my family sees me.
Right.
And so then again, I push them away, and the devil says, you know, yeah, you know, it's fine. Look, you know, you have this problem, just let it, you know. And so then again, you know, it's always this push and pull. And finally I'm like, yeah, we can't live like this.
Yeah.
You know, this is not conducive. This is not how, you know, Christ will want me to live with my family, and the example I need to set for them. You know, I want the kids to see, you know, I persevered through all this. Yeah, I had some struggles. I want them to see that. You know, you know, I want them to learn that, you know, you're gonna have struggles in life, whatever they may be. But you know, you know, relying on God to fully just hold you. You know, at times, you know, again, you know,
Yeah.
it's a struggle.
Always. Yeah.
I mean,
For the person out there that's dealing with the cancer, that's you know, making their identity, you know, their career, watching life fall apart right in front of them,
Yeah.
what would you say to that person out there?
man, just that, you know, God's not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's not done. You walk through a valley that you think like, man, how could this get any worse?
Mm-hmm.
How could this be any worse, God? Who else out there is dealing with this right now? I said to myself, like, who else,
Mm-hmm.
is dealing with this? Who's a firefighter who's had to retire and has all these issues and this and that? There again, pity. I wasn't putting the purpose behind it. But just to look towards God for that directions, just like I said, Proverbs 16:9, He's going to lead your steps no matter what. But to fully let go, be in His Word every day, be intentional, like I said, with your prayer life. Be intentional. Ask God what you want. Ask Him what you need. He's there. Have a conversation with Him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With your prayer life, with your faith, with your actions, and how you treat others. Being intentional and not becoming complacent that, this is the life I guess I've been given, and we're just gonna
Draw a bad hand.
let it roll, and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be angry. I'm gonna be upset with this, but knowing that in the end, not to waste the pain,
Mm-hmm.
not to waste that trial, whatever it may be that you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a quote the other day. I think, oh my goodness, who was it? Football player, but he said, I don't want happiness. I want peace.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
And I was like, took me back for a second when I saw that, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
That's
peace.
good. Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I pray for. I pray for peace just on my life, just because situations like this, in any situation, cancer, financial, tragic accident, whatever it may be, can flip your mind and say, again, just I want to be happy again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like I was. I want to have peace.
Yeah.
I want that comforting feeling.
An understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of just like, okay.
Yeah.
Knowing that where God's leading me is going to be so much better than where I was.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. For the people out there that are listening and hearing your story for the first time, and when they walk away and get done listening, what do they want? What do you want them to know about Brent Hamilton's story, and how do you want them to view it?
There's cancer, is not again my identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in Job. God, or the devil tempted, Job, took everything away from him.
Literally.
And at every moment, his wife was like, hey, look, just give up and die. Just give up. But he didn't. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
At every moment, he was like, nope. Absolutely took everything away from him. But he trusted God.
Yeah.
And in the end, he was given everything and some.
Twice the amount.
So I think, today, if you can take anything away is, to fully release anything you're going through and put it in God's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Pray about it. Absolutely just give everything to Him. And you'll see in the end, it might not be tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're people of sudden satisfaction. We have phones that we can, immediately order something and it be here in 2 days.
Yeah. Maybe sometimes one. Yeah.
So I think that's this misconception that we think that God is going to automatically, I'm going to say a prayer real quick. Yep.
It's going to happen.
I'm going to spend all my money today, and tomorrow
He's a genie.
the same amount of money will be back in my account, and I'll continue life.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't happen like that, And I think that's hard for us as humans to really focus on. But again, we talked about slowing down. I think sometimes we just need to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
God sets the vision for us already. It's already there.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to pay attention to how He's leading us and follow His footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and not our own desires. So
because He's already gone before us.
He's already there.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Well, Brent, man, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today
Yeah,
to
definitely.
share your amazing story. Thank you for being obedient to Christ and slowing down and just saying yes and
Yeah.
letting go and letting God. I know
Yeah.
at one point in your life you had no idea what that meant and
No.
what people were saying, but I think you feel it now. And I just, kudos to you to
Yeah, man.
continue to go and to raise 3 amazing kids, where, you just are living life to the fullest now.
Yeah.
So I
Cool.
appreciate you. I appreciate your story. Guys, Brent, where can we check you out, man? I know.
Yeah, just right now, Facebook is really where I'm at. Just trying to slowly get my story out there.
Mhm.
I'm actually finishing up a book.
Wow, let's go.
It's called Beyond the Smoke.
Beyond the Smoke.
And so if you can kind
I
of
like that.
imagine that, based off like a firefighter, as
Yeah.
you walk, it's just like fog, whatever you were at, as you walk through that, you don't know what's in front of you until you get there.
Yeah.
So it's all based off of my story, my journey, and what I've learned. So
Beyond the Smoke.
kind of doing the finishing touches on it
Yeah.
right now, and looking to. I need to find somebody that can edit it for me.
Well, hey,
And
this
kind of-
is it right here.
and kind
I
of
think
dial
we
it
can,
in.
We can get you on that for sure.
So,
yeah.
but so that's hopefully will be coming out. Once I get all that worked out. But
yeah.
So
That's awesome, man.
so-
Beyond the Smoke. I'll be looking for that.
Yep.
Barnes and Noble. Let's
There
go,
you go.
baby.
Yeah, there
Let's
you go.
Well, I appreciate you for
Yeah.
coming on and keep going, man.
Yeah,
This
definitely.
is
Thanks for the
awesome.
opportunity to be able to tell my story. I know, there's so many others that are going through something, but
Mhm.
if somebody can take one small
That's all it's
piece
about.
of our journeys
That's all it's
and
about.
add it to their life, hey, you put all them together, man.
It's
you
a
can,
win.
yeah.
All for the
So,
kingdom.
yep.
Well, appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure you go and check Brent out. Be looking for Beyond the Smoke because
go.
it's going to be cool. I
Yep.
definitely I'm not a huge reader. I'm an audiobook guy every once in a while, but I'll read that one.
I made it short for you.
Hey, let's go, baby.
12
there we
chapters,
go.
we're good.
I need some pictures.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys.
Yeah.